I'm Dr. Sheldon Cooper. Welcome to Sheldon Cooper Presents Fun with Flags.
Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
This town needs an enema. Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
I used to hang out at the Magumba Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Guess Captain Soundboard doesn't know how to run the soundboard.
It's yet another in a long series of diversions in an attempt to avoid responsibility.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do, the question is what aren't we going to do?
Ludicrous speed! Go!
Once again, we are live. Raw Radio X, the IT and the D Show, Russell Industrial Center, beautiful Midtown Detroit, Michigan. This is the IT and the D Show presented by DetroitNet.org. This is Bob the Sales Guy, joined by Dave the Geek, Jeff the Voice of Reason. We got a great guest today. This is episode 12. These are the droids you're looking for. We got
These are the droids you're looking
Mark
for.
here from Duo Security. How we do?
Very well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we had a great conversation we should have taped. That was at Third
Isn't that
Street.
always the case, though? We just need to bring a recording studio to the bar next time. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what's the today it wasn't raining. There's no films being here. There's no guy stabbing people in the neck. I mean, this is the elevator was on the bottom floor for once. This is like the perfect, nothing was going wrong.
Trifecta. Just don't jinx us now.
Yeah, exactly. Something's going to blow up. I can feel it.
Our mics weren't working like 30 seconds ago, but all is well now.
How's everybody's weekend was good?
Details.
Outstanding, actually. Wound up working a lot this weekend, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, this was the last week of October.
And this is how the show's going to go for the rest of the night.
I get that look.
The look of death.
Yeah, it was the last week of Oktoberfest for me. Bought Grand Theft Auto 5.
Holy Week for you. You still got a beer in your hand.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
A couple more days of Holy Week. And then
like you said at the bar, it ends when I says it ends.
Well, Dakota Inn runs Oktoberfest all the way through the end till Halloween, so that's when Oktoberfest ends for me.
When does it officially end? Like, seriously, officially?
It starts like September 17th, whatever that and it runs for 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay.
You know those wacky Germans, Oktoberfest is...
Well, it's like that European vacation thing I posted on your Facebook today. That was more accurate for you.
Oh, the Clark Griswold?
Clark Griswold.
Yeah. No, and it's the dumbest. Why they celebrate? Like, why do they celebrate? It's like, well, it's king. If you ever read the history, it's the king's wedding reception. And they just kept on partying, and then they did it every year for
3 weeks.
Yeah, for hundreds of years. It's like any excuse to have a drink. They're worse than we are.
Nice.
Worse than the Irish?
Exactly.
Well, just from an order of business perspective, so, we wanted to dive into, we had our pink slip party.
We did?
Thursday night over at St. Andrews Hall.
Wow, did we? If you missed that, I don't know.
Yeah. It truly was over the top ridiculous, so we've been doing these
You're dead to us.
Right. We've been doing these since May of 2009. And eventually we will kill ourselves trying to outdo the last time.
No, I think we finally found a home. We always outgrew, I think we finally found a home. St. Andrews Hall is perfect for what we want to get done.
Other than parking.
But
that's like all of like south of 8 Mile.
It's any major metro you go downtown, you're going to pay for parking. What can we do?
Right. Well, we had the trifecta. The Tigers game just got out. It was rush hour. People are going to complain regardless. So,
a good time was had by all.
Exactly.
The free beer wasn't cold enough.
Bob was keeping people from getting Long Island's on the free bar.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can have a beer, but just that beer. No other beer, but that beer.
Robot you had, the lights weren't twinkling enough.
That's right. Of the 2,600 LEDs, one was off.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock, it was kind of. I was looking at the people's faces because I told them like, "Hey, play." We got the Cryo. If you guys don't know what he is, he's like the guy on opening day. He's got like blue LEDs and like looks like Megatron. 9 foot tall.
2,600 LEDs.
He's
right?
9 feet tall. Looks like your childhood Light Bright and Optimus Prime had a bastard child, and it's just outstanding.
Well, the music was low and everything was kind of calm, and I told the guys, "Hey,
the music was low because you booked the Renaissance Festival guitar player."
They walked off, and the lights dimmed, and everyone's just doing their own thing, and in walks him, and you should have seen the expression.
The
on their
Renaissance
faces.
guy's there. He's an IT geek. I wanted to keep it in the family. What do you know? Next time I'll book Motley Crue for you. Yeah, I'd say play Daft Punk or play something a little mellow. He blasts Skillrex like the loudest I've ever heard, like almost like concert level loud. And everyone's looking. I mean, the guy didn't come out for another like 4 minutes.
Could we get a syllable check on Skillrex?
Yeah,
Skillrex.
Was there a niner in there?
Yeah. No, I'm the guest. I can pull up whatever I want.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Go to town.
Skrillex.
Making fun of how we pronounce Skillrex. I'm glad I don't know how to pronounce that.
Emphasis on the syllable.
It's right. It's all about the syllable emphasis. Absolutely.
Him too. It's better if I got to deal with you two.
It needs a new paradigm.
Excellent. We have another one of us.
Yeah, you have just become a regular.
I'm leaving.
Well, no, but I mean, hands
plan
down,
has succeeded.
Right. No, I mean, Cryo walking in, hands down, was seriously the only moment. As many crazy and bizarre moments as we've had at our events over the years, that's the first time where literally the entire room shut up, spun in one direction, and everybody pulled out their phones and started.
Because the age of the cell phone just reminded me of the picture of the Vatican.
Pictures and videos all over the place. It was outstanding. But I mean, it worked out well. I mean, it's the surprise we wanted it to be. It was the event that we wanted it to be.
How are we going to outdo that? I just don't understand.
I wanted to have stormtroopers have guards, but I think it's kind of cliche passe at this point not to have. It wouldn't have made any sense
to have the stormtroopers and Cryo.
Yeah, just stormtroopers walk around like, what are they for? Security.
It would have been great if he would have walked up to one of the stormtroopers and shot him with the
that
CO2.
Yeah. Next to the only part
put him in frozen carbonite.
The only thing that was worth was blowing up skirts. That there's guns from his hands.
Oh yeah, the freezing fog gun. Yeah,
right.
That was outstanding.
But other than that, I mean, we had close to 100 recruiters.
We were close to 150 based on the tags that got picked up, plus all the blanks that we burned through. I mean, it just goes to show you. I mean, everything we've been harping on people about, that the market has changed so drastically in the last. I mean, clearly in the last 4 years since we did our first Pink Slip party, but even just in the last year, where recruiters are dying for anybody with a good head on their shoulders, a decent, marketable skill set in any way, shape, or form. I
really think we need to have a conversation because, like I said, the market's changed where the recruiters are looking for almost like the established guy, and the people that show up are people that are kind of unemployed. So, the fact that we don't tell, like, hey, if you want a new job, but if you're mildly looking, you need to be here. Because I think guys are scared. They don't want to put that they're at the Pink Slip party or that they went. Like, why the hell are you going there?
Well, you know what? That was actually one of the funniest things that happened to me is that there were probably...
Wasn't there a couple guys that were doing that? Like, they were clandestine? Like, they didn't want to put out their name tag. There were people
from my office that were
walking around.
Well, the best part was that a couple of them, when they walked in and they saw me, they were like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, dude, it's my group, it's my event. What are you doing here? They're like, "I'm just coming to meet
I'm not here. You don't see me."
Yeah, exactly.
Look that way.
This is not the event you're looking for. Well, but the best part was when they ran into each other later in the night, and you did that whole mutual, "What are you doing here?"
But that's not. I mean, we don't try to promote that. I mean, everyone. If you're in IT and everyone's always passive.
Networking.
Yeah, it's you're not there to jump ship at the next opportunity.
Actually, it's all about Bucharest Grill grape leaves and shawarma.
Oh my God, shawarma! That's like crack cocaine.
It's amazing when you put out like the last one. There was we had lousy food. Nobody touches it. This one got absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
And I'm happy though. Everybody
decimated.
Everyone, with something like that, you don't really want to stuff your face because you're talking to hiring managers and whatnot. But
Well, it actually worked out good, better that there was not enough pitas there because everyone was eating it with a fork and not,
no doubt.
have greasy hands, shaking hands.
No, but I like the fact too that we had open bar, but we didn't announce it, so it's kind of like, oh, thank you, instead of promoting it
and all the vultures show up. And,
right.
Free food, free beer. I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. This event sucks.
Thanks for the booze and the food. I'm out.
Yeah. I didn't find anything. Why'd you leave at 6:30?
Well,
wasn't people walking out?
People were leaving at 6:30.
That was
they were leaving at 5:30. They were leaving like as soon as it opened.
You know what? So be it. So be it. I'm sorry. If how can we set up a more perfect event with recruiters? Free food, free beer. You don't have to drink. But for crying out loud, if you walk through that room and not talk to any recruiters and leave and complain that you didn't find an opportunity, whose fault is that?
The one that caught me, and I was telling Bob
ridiculous.
about this.
It drives me nuts.
No, I told Bob about this one, and this one killed me. So, I'm standing outside having a smoke, basically at about 5:30, 5:45 before it's going to get really... before it's going to get really crazy, because it usually starts jumping up at about 6. And one of the guys that comes to our events all the time is walking out. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Are you leaving?
WTF.
He was like, and he was like, well, I walked around and, nobody was really coming up to me and, nobody was extending their hand and nobody, I said, I just kind of got the vibe they weren't interested. So, and this was, the same conversation Bob and I had. So you go to a bar.
It's like networking is like dating. Like I'm single. I'm going to go to a sports bar and I'm going to walk out in a half an hour because no girls came up to me.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'd be a lonely man. But this guy left because the recruiters weren't hounding him. It's like, wait a minute, you need the job, right? I don't know if that's
I'm sorry, he's doing it wrong.
The entitlement age. Oh, I don't know or it's just him. Because we get a couple every event where it's just like,
you can't help him.
Shake my head.
Yeah, I don't know what. Kind of dumbfounded, actually.
Well, yeah, and that's one of those things where it's really hard to combat, just because it's. What do you tell those people? And there were a few people that that were wandering out that I caught and had that same conversation with, and they got it, and they dove back in. But there was that one guy and a few others that just kind of hemmed and whatever, and shuffled their way out. And okay, that's why you don't have a job.
Mm-hmm. Well,
or why you don't have one you like.
There's egos at play, right? There are people that think people should know me here. They should be coming up and asking me to take a job with them, and it's just a bad perception.
There's ego in the IT community.
No, I know, shocking.
No,
yeah,
I know.
That never happens, Bob.
I wouldn't have dreamt it.
Well, no, but we did have just taking a look back at the whole 10 Commandments of networking thing. There was a huge outbreak of anxiety. There were a lot of people that it was their first event there, but a lot of people at least took our advice. There was the one person that showed up with their sister. There were people that showed up
with their father.
Yeah, showed up with their father. But
she was spying.
But that's exactly what that was. But it is. They people that actually take our advice and approach these in the right way, with the right mindset, with the right goals in mind, get it. And those are the people that wind up coming back to us and saying, "Hey, I got a job at your event."
And
hey,
thank you.
Yeah,
there must. Collectively, 100. There must have been. I'd say I'm just throwing a stab at the dark. There was over 2,000 available jobs from those recruiters that showed
easily.
up.
Yeah,
from the different. From the GEs of the world. Quicken was there.
From help desk to senior management, easily.
Yeah, and I remember you always pick you can't have a conversation with everybody as being the organizers, but I remember maybe like a dozen people that I said, what do you do? And he's like, a PM, and I made it a point to hey, are you looking for PMs? Yeah. Then I drag him over. I'm like, if he didn't walk out of there with a gig. Oh, and then the funniest one was the girl says, what do you do? And she's like, .net. I go, no, are you just mocking us?
that was the one that showed up with her sister.
Yeah,
purple unicorn.
Right.
I said, no,
if you're not being flocked right now.
Yeah.
I said, so help me God, if you don't find a job at the end of this thing, I'm going to beat your living ass. She looked at me like, I'll pretend what are you talking about? I go, no, every recruiter here is looking for you.
Yeah, there's not one that isn't.
It's like you need an orange flag with a .net thing on it. Come talk to me.
Now we could have put her on a big chair and just go, come to me, my children. They would have
flocked to her. That's what I'm saying.
Shine the spotlight from the roof. And it's her.
Yeah, just have Cryo stand next to her.
Yes,
all night long, right.
Shooting dry ice everywhere.
But again, it's one of those things where we talk about it. There's so much build up to that thing. It's like, how do you come back from that? And
that's why we decided to only do these twice a year.
I don't think we could do them more than that.
No, because they get.
I don't want to do it more than twice a year.
Right.
But I guess it's a good point. We talk about Bucharest Grill. We talk about the open bar and all that kind of stuff. We do. Owe the sponsors that we had a huge shout out.
Absolutely.
Just because without them.
wouldn't have happened.
None of this, we wouldn't have been at St. Andrews Hall. There wouldn't have been an open bar. There wouldn't have been Bucharest Grill. I mean, the three of us lovingly funded this crap from our own pockets for the longest time.
It would have been in Bob's basement.
Right. But it's one of those things where, you do.
That's not bad. We do that next time.
Right. Yeah. Pink's the party. Yeah. Bo will kill